Hello, it's Matt here at Arty Bees bookshop, and as a thing to do in lockdown, we're catching up with previous staff, and I've got Nathaniel here.
Hello.
Now, Nathaniel worked at Arty Bees from about 2014 till 2017, but did come back and do an extra few shifts a bit after that as well. So he certainly can get a 5-year badge for working at Arty Bees. Where are you now?
So I am living in Cambridge in the United Kingdom. I'm a PhD student in plant sciences here at the University of Cambridge. I was studying my undergrad in biology while I worked at Arty Bees in Wellington, and then I applied for some scholarships and got across the ditch. And here I am, having come through a long and arduous COVID process that is now just sort of slightly being replicated on the other side of the world.
Yeah, well, we're in a level 4 lockdown and basically can't leave the house. So we're going to have a chat about kind of what you've been doing. I see when I did a Google search to find you, you've published 11 papers or something like that.
Yeah, I'm giving my best shot at being a real scientist, and that involves occasionally having to explain to other people what your work is in written format. And so I'm trying actually, doing the whole publishing game and getting stuff out there into the public sphere. It's good.
Okay, now when you were at Arty Bees, you also did some fencing. And that's the sport of fencing, not the thing you do on farms.
Not the building of fences, yeah.
No.
Which is a joke variant that I've heard in every form.
Excellent. Glad to have made tick that box in the interview. Are you still doing it?
Yeah, so I recently picked it up again. When I first arrived at the university, I kind of was a little bit burnt out I'd been coaching fencing for a long time. And as many people will know, if you're of the bookish nature, children are just awful, So I'd gotten a little bit tired of it, a little bit burnt out. So I let it go for a couple of years, but now I've just recently gotten back into it. But I'm thoroughly regretting the long break because my body is much less ready for it than it used to be. And getting back into fitness, especially after spending about a year locked indoors, has been really, really, really difficult. But I'm enjoying it and I'm back at it.
Oh, great. Now, one of the questions I wanted to ask was, what was one of the more fun customers you can remember from Arty Bees?
So there were a pair that used to come in, Lee and his partner, who used to come in on Sunday evenings when Wendy and I were doing the closing. And Sunday evenings was the one time that I allowed myself to do the stereotypical bookshop worker thing, which is, sometimes occasionally just sit at the desk and read. And they were very entertaining because you'd basically be trying to get stuff done, trying to do the banking or like do the tills for the day. And you'd just be getting talked at by these guys and having a great conversation with them. And they were lovely and they loved to throw around jokes. And it always made the Sunday closing routine that much more pleasant.
Oh, great. We must try and track them down. I haven't seen them for a while. I'll check with Wendy, who is still here, of course, see if they're still around. When you tell someone that you used to work in a secondhand bookshop, what do they say?
So there's two. So I'm in the United Kingdom, and in the UK, most secondhand bookshops are charity shops. And when you work in a charity shop, as I gather, it's mostly volunteer work. So there are two strands of reaction. There's people who are not from the UK and they all think it's really cool and are very jealous because they have this picture of only ever sitting at a desk and reading books and telling people to go away instead of selling them books, which is not what Arty Bees is like at all. But then the people who grew up in England are like, oh, you worked in a charity shop. That's kind of weird. So it's this very strange dichotomy. But you get your fair share of people who would love to work in a secondhand bookshop. It's a surprisingly large kind of desired job, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been here for 28 years and have no desire to change whatsoever.
You lucky thing.
Yeah. As you can see behind me, there are books on the shelf in the spare room. And hats, yes. Well, there's a reason for hats. Now, do you still get to buy secondhand books? Is
I
there
do
anything?
all. Oh,
Yeah.
you,
Oh, sorry. Is there anything exciting you've bought recently?
yeah. I mean, so I buy secondhand books all of the time. Also new books. I think people buy a lot more books in general in the UK. It's just probably because they cost less. If I'm honest, but I still do buy a lot of secondhand books from aforementioned charity shops. I bought a copy of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell the other day because my girlfriend had never read it, and we'd watched the pretty excellent BBC adaptation, BBC ITV, one of the British TV adaptations, which is really great. So I bought her a copy of that, and I've bought myself some very dry academic books that I won't bore the audience with the titles of, but Cambridge is a great place for finding quite obscure secondhand things.
Great. And have you been reading any interesting fiction lately?
Yeah, one that you'll love actually, or you may even have read. I just finished Axiom's End by Lindsay Ellis. Have you read that yet?
No, not yet.
Have you got it in your new sci-fi yet?
No,
You should. It's
no.
really good.
Lindsay
She's
Ellis.
she's that
she's
YouTube video essayist.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
Have you seen her thing on Lord of the
The
Rings?
Hobbit. Yeah. The Hobbit lore. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think Piper met her when she came into the
Yes,
store.
in at least one of the videos she's done with
She's wearing the
stuff to
t-shirt.
camera, she's wearing an Arty Bees t-shirt.
Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, so she wrote a book that's a play on like the typical First Contact story, and where her father is like a kind of Julian Assange-esque leaker, the main character's father, I should say. And it's great. It's very entertaining. It's got great plot. It's very funny. You should definitely stock it.
Yeah, definitely will. I'll look into that as soon as we can get back into the store and do more ordering.
Awesome.
Right. Just wondering if there's anything else on my... Oh, okay. One really weird question. Have you ever met anyone in the UK who has heard of Arty Bees?
I can do better. I have met someone in the UK who has been to Arty Bees. So I've been in London at the Waterstones that's down by UCL, and I've met someone working there who had been in Arty Bees probably in the 2016 to 2018 range, and she remembered you. Specifically, she remembered being talked at by a large and I think she also remembered Piper based on descriptions that she gave me. So there you go, Matt. You're internationally famous amongst the bookshop community.
Oh, excellent. That's a star to put on my hat, so to speak. Great. So, I mean, we're in lockdown and can't leave the house. Have you been able to continue working during your lockdown?
Yeah, the whole way through, actually. So everyone's been very lucky in the university. Well, some less lucky in terms of being forced to work in otherwise less sanitary conditions. But I have been able to be in the lab the whole way through, which is a privilege in some respects. And that has been a boon to my PhD, which got a big cut right in the middle of it. But yeah, we're sort of slowly opening, we're almost fully open back up here. So it's very funny to have the converse happen on the other side of the world. But if I had my way, we would have done the same a long time ago. And then maybe it wouldn't have taken a year to get to this stage. Let's not get political.
No. YouTube is not the place for politics. Right. Well, thank you very much for chatting. It's been great fun to catch up.
Thank you for hosting me. It's been great to catch up.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's about 8:30 in the morning here, and it did sound like one of the cats just brought something into the house in the other room. So I'm going to go and head off and deal with that.
Go deal with that, and I'll go and have some very, very late dinner.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.